For joining. My name is Madhurima Paturi. I'm an immigration attorney locally here in Orlando, Florida. We do immigration, real estate law, and other laws and related. And we've been in the community for a while. And I'm sure a lot of you knows us, and I know you, I guess. Anyway, this is a very important conversation, and not just as an immigration attorney, as a fellow community leader, and also as a immigrant myself. I know that it pressurizes a lot of us and causes a lot of unnecessary fear, and that's where it comes as we need to be prepared, right? Like any other natural disaster, unfortunately, this is a disaster we are going through right now. We need to be prepared. Okay, regardless of it's prepared, there may be a chaos happen, and we should find the avenues. And at the end of the day, this is a country of the rule of law. There are the ways. If we are doing everything legal, there should be a way to come out, right? But whole point is, how can we be prepared and how can we avoid getting into the issues? Okay. Being said that ICE, which is a immigration customs enforcement, is one of the department in the Department of Homeland Security, just like USCIS, how all your applications went through, and CBP, which is you go to the airport and we have the CBP offices, which is a Customs Border Patrol, and ICE is also one of the department. Okay, so why the ICE is so important? Why we've been listening a lot? We actually had this exact conversation last year, January, with the same group. Srinivas Garu conducted this one, and we spoke about Know Your Rights program. But it just exactly 1 year where we spoke last time to the ICE and the Know Your Rights, to 1 year fast forward today, we are seeing in action, right? And we thought that it's happening to somebody who don't have the papers or who are here unlawfully. Those are the people who are in trouble. And guess what? After 1 year, we feel like we are all under this chaos, right? Either you are legally here, or you are a citizen, or you born here. Regardless, feels like it's a bigger than what we thought about it. It's sometimes it just feels like, for me, it's a racial profile, right? You are a colored person, you are in danger right now. Why we should be worried about this is, more than ever, we are seeing them in our own neighborhoods. Okay, I have the other day a client calling from to me, at night at 12 p.m. Obviously, I didn't answer. Then I see that the calls are coming, escalating over the night. Then I was in fear that I need to answer this call, and they're calling on my personal cell phone number. I did answer. They said that I have an ICE at the front door. Should I talk to them or no? So it's important for you, if that happens to you or anybody who knows, that how do we have to be prepared, regardless of the prepare. As I said, that we probably have to go through some situations in this administration or this particular current situations, but it's always important to be prepared. First thing you need to know is you have a right to remain silent. I know we heard this a lot and we see in the movies a lot, but it is very important to pay attention at that moment, right? It's very obvious, as a human beings first, as an immigrant second, as a colored people third, that we kind of worry, that we have a tendency to worry that there's something went wrong or I did wrong. First, we question ourselves, regardless of is that person is the right person to coming to us. That's very, very common in our community. So you have a right to remain silent. More than anything, I want you, all of you, regardless of what age group you have, family members and friends, even the kids who born here, you need to sit down at the dining table and have this conversation, and they need to educate about this, because our kids are not too far from this. They are as much as danger in this because of the color at this point. It's not about the immigration status. Okay, everybody needs to know what their rights are. If somebody stops you and asks about your status, your things, and they say that they want to enter into the house, you have right to remain silent. It's a very powerful thing. It seems like so common, everybody says and everybody hears about it, But practicing remaining silent is the most important thing. Actually, honestly, a lot of clients in the nonprofits, we train them how to react. We mock these things, the eyes knocking the door. How do you have to react as a family member or a household member? So remaining the silent is something we all need to practice. You need to process yourself. You don't have to react right away. Okay, we have a tendency to react right away. Either it's a fear or questioning somebody that they think that, oh, you're not supposed to be here, you're here. You don't have to get into the argumentative mode right away. You have a remind to silent. And the second thing is, if they say that they have a document or warrant to search your house, tell them to slide it under the door, give it through the window, wherever there is a possibility that they can give it to you before you actually open the door. Okay, there's a two kind of the warrants. There's the administrative warrant and there's judicial warrant. You need a judicial warrant, not any warrant. You need a judicial warrant. Judicial warrant is something signed by the judge, okay, and have your address in there, and they have a right to enter into the your house for a search. Okay, if they say that so and so his person is in your house and we have information about this person, so we want to come into the house, don't let them in. They may have a warrant for that person, but they don't have a warrant to come into your house. You need an address in that warrant, your house address, so that they have a right to come into your house. Even if they have a judicial warrant, okay, they slide under the door, you look into it, it looks real, and it has your house address, everything seems right, right? Then, even if it has it, you open the door to come in, you still have a right to remain silent. Okay, and the other thing is you have a right to ask for a lawyer. You don't have to answer anything. They can't force to talk to you. Even that they force, you don't have to talk. That's why I said that it's very, very important to practice remain to silent. Okay. And the fourth thing is, which is important, is again, don't try to escalate. You have we have naturally human beings, like when we didn't do wrong, we feel like we have a right to question. Yes, you can question, but sometimes in that emotional stage, you may say a word or two which goes against to you, and you don't want to be in trouble because this is going to escalate to going to the court, and you don't want anything filing against to you because they will be recording everything what you say, so right, so I think that remaining the silent is very important, and seeking for a lawyer is the most important. And more than anything, look for the document, even though they may look fearful a little bit, right? Like, sometimes they're all dressed up, they're all armed up, they have the badges, they have this thing, IDs and everything. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be worried about it. The recent times, what they're recruiting for the ICE department is not even the people who has experience in this. They are hiring, the ICE is hiring. If you go to the USCIS website, you can still say that there is job vacancies for the ICE and they want to pay for you. You don't have to be an experienced person. We are talking about the person who was right next to us yesterday is an ICE officer now. So a lot of them don't know the regulations, not even federal laws or state laws, anything specific. They don't know the immigration laws. They are there almost like they want to get to you for any reason they could think of, right? A lot of them don't even have a warrant. A lot of them, they don't even have the IDs. The most interesting thing what we are seeing in the news day to day is they're not even having a uniforms. So anybody can come and say that they are the ICE people, right? So it's important for you to ask for that warrant, important to ask you to make sure that they are the ICE officer. All these things, more than anything, even if you verify everything, you have a right to remain silent and ask for a lawyer. So this is pertaining to if you're in the house, right? Again, I know it's a very common tendency for a lot of us as a South Asians and Telugu people, or in general Indians, that we like to host the people like it's a friend, family, or somebody who are in the other immigration status. We want them to stay with us for a while, right? That's very, very common. So make sure that, I'm not saying stop what you do. That's what you do. As an attorney, I can say that make sure that it's important who you are hosting, right? I'm not saying that hosting an event. I'm talking about if you're having a guest to stay with us few months, few weeks, few things, It's important to know that they may be coming after for that person, but they may be coming to your house to get to that person. Okay. Even if that's the case, remember you need a warrant for the house, not for the warrant for the particular person. Okay. So this is pertaining to the recent ICE raids and how they're knocking the doors. More than anything, as a community, we have to hold together. Okay, we can't blame each other. It could be happen to you, to me, to anybody. Okay, it could happen to our kids who born here, who could happen to our senior citizens, especially our parents who are non-immigrant visas. They are all also in high risk right now. I know that they like to go for a walk. They like to do the things for us. They like to do things. I'm not telling that everybody has to be scared, but it is important to be educated, everyone. If they can't able to answer, let's say our parents are outside, they don't know how to talk in English. They don't know how to respond. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't know how to remain silent, right? Try to accompany them as much as you can, you know, and don't feel sorry if something goes wrong and say that, oh, my parents don't know how to have the language and they didn't give the chance to talk to them. They did talk to them, but our parents may not have not understand. That's not an excuse for the federal agents. Okay. So these are the things which is very important as a community. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a leader for this. These kind of the things is something we need to protect ourselves first. Okay. And this is where the as a community we come together, we talk to each other as a family, protect each other with our identities, with our culture. We do have some cultures, right, where we like to do this, we like to do that. Let's say that, hey, let's keep it more straightforward. Let's be prepared. Okay, we are doing an event. If somebody's crashing on that day for us, the ICE agents are coming. How do we have to react for this? Okay, have the important documents copied and put it in your phone. Okay, have the physical copies, put it in your dashboard, extra copy. I'm not saying carry the originals, but you do need to have the copies. The most important thing I've been telling from last 1 year to all the people out there is that even the US citizens, right, United States citizens, either you are naturalized or you born, regardless of it, please do carry citizenship card. Citizenship card is exactly the size of a driver's license. Okay, you're not carrying too heavy. It's a citizenship card where you can put it right behind your driver's license in your wallet. Please do carry until you get your card. If you don't have a card, take a copy of a passport, your citizen passport, and put it in your phone. I'm not saying this is going to stop it. How they're acting recently, they didn't care. They're not even ready to see your documents, right? They are like, just detain you right now, then we'll look up it later. They're trying to get everybody as much as possible, and then they're going to say sorry, and then they're going to say that, oh, we looked at your documents, you're good, you're leave. But we're trying to see that if we can avoid, if there is a possibility to avoid, let's do that. Yes, it is easy to prove, yes, it's easy to argue and all those things, but everything takes time. Remember, everything takes time. Okay, I just have a student who I have to help to release from the detention center. She stayed for 4.5 months, even though she said that she's voluntarily departing. Okay, so it's not easy. Nobody is excused from this. How the actions are happening right now. Be prepared, everyone. So the next question about the ICE is, what if they are going to stop me in the public places, right? Let's say you're in the Walmart or Target, or maybe you are in the conference doing this, doing that, whatever it is, or you are in the airport flight or whatever it is. It's a public place. So then you may be thinking that, oh, they don't have to enter into my house. They don't need a judicial warrant to go through. You still need a warrant for yourself. If they're trying to come to search you, they're trying to come arrest you, they're coming to investigate and ask the information about you, the first thing is, again, remain silent, ask for a warrant for you if it is in public place. Okay, and you have a right to ask a lawyer again, and try to stay as much as calm, not to argue with them. Argument doesn't take you anywhere, believe me. We like to be responding that way emotionally. It doesn't take you anywhere. Okay, so that's the most important tips. I mean that unfortunately they are not wearing the uniforms. They are not too far away from where we are living. Okay, it could be you, me, or anybody. Just be prepared, and any questions you have on the eyes, just put it in the questionnaire. I'll look into it. We can talk about it. as a community, how we can make together a right decisions to see that how we can protect ourselves first before we protect other people. And Srinivas, do you want me to take any questions on this before we get to the different topics?
No, I think we can get to the other topic. Let's see, if they can put it in the chat box if they have questions.
It looks like Jansi raised her hand.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so when you say parents who are in traveler's visa also is under risk, right? So if they're going for a walk and if they're asked, what mainly we need to have them prepare when they have language barrier to even understand what they're speaking?
I mean, that remaining the silent still applies to them,
Whatever they say, just keep quiet.
You can keep quiet, that's fine. But the question is, are they going to arrest them at that point? How can we stop that? We can't really stop if nobody is there to have them. Can they ask for the warrant? I don't know. Even if they give the warrant, can they able to read? These are all the questions we need to talk as a community people, right? Is can we accompany our parents? Can parents wait until we get home to take them to the walks? So unless they are ready to take care of these things, exactly what I said, four things, right? Right to remain silent, ask for the warrant, ask for a lawyer, all these things. If they don't have the capacity to do it, as a community member, I encourage you be with your people who can't represent themselves. Either it's our kids, it's our parents, whoever it is.
Okay, got you.
That's the best advice. It's not as a lawyer, as a community member.
No,
Because
that's the best advice, Madhurima Garu, because of the existing situations, and also as we know, as a community, also we know some of them, in the communities, a lot of people they walk, so but it is better because of the situations. Please accompany your parents or your elders, whoever visiting. That's the best advice.
Okay. And if we are with them, we can say that, we want to have an attorney to discuss about this, even if they have a warrant.
That is the 4 points what she said.
Okay.
Ask for warrant. Be silent. Don't be in argument. Ask for to right to have a attorney. These 4 things we need to remember.
Okay. Got
you. Okay. And somebody has a question for H1Bs and H4. If they ask, are you a US? What to reply if they ask for ID? Should the ID be shown? Again, before you even, they can't just ask you, are you a US citizen or no? I mean, that nobody needs to ask you any questions. That's the period, okay? I mean, that if they're asking a question, first of all, you don't even have to reply to them. Why are you asking about the status? You can be silent, or if you really want to talk to them, ask, show me the warrant before I talk. Okay? If they showed the warrant and if they still ask you a question, and first of all, the warrant should say that why they are searching you, right? Why they're looking for you. Okay? If they still want to see the document shouldn't be stopping them. If they have a warrant, means they are taking you away for sure, right? They are not there to just to search you to see that if you are illegal here or no. They have some information behind it, but you can always show that if they are coming just to investigate, you can have the warrant, or you can talk, or you can talk to the lawyer, or if they say that I need to see right now, then you can always show the document, but that doesn't stop any of your rights. Okay, your H1B approval, your H4 approval. Make sure that you're physically holding that document. You're not giving this person to take away our document to seize the documents. You can show them if you're in the car, you can show them from the window your passport, your approvals, your things like that. Tell them to show their warrant. You can put down a little bit and ask that, show me your warrant. Tell them to stick onto your window to see the warrant. After the warrant, show them their ID. Make sure that they're official people. You're not scamming, right? This is the best time ever. People are actually can be scammers here. And at this point, honestly, we don't even know who is officer, who is not officer, because the amount of the people in the community right now, as probably you all heard already, that they are planning to have their detention center not too far away from us in 20 miles, So these are all building very fast. They are buying these warehouses to build these detention centers way too fast.
And one more thing, Madhurima Garu, right now the situations in other places where we see, suppose if the officer is saying that we are arresting you, there is no reason, even we are silent, okay, because of the situation if they arrest you. So the advice is not to resist the arrest, physically not get into the things,
Right.
because it's very, very important not to put yourself in the danger situations. So that is very important.
Yep. Yep. I mean that by showing you the document, it doesn't stop you what they have to do it, because if they have a warrant, they're ready to take you. That means that they do have some kind of the charges they are placing on you. Yes, we need to go prove that one in the court later,
Yep.
okay? But just you arguing or pushing that or escalating that situation doesn't stop you what they have to do.
Yep.
And it can go against to you, because emotionally, as a human beings, we get very emotional and we talk the things which we are not supposed to be talking. And you probably see that what happened in the Minnesota, right? After the protest, they're still like the community got together and doing the protest um, to support the situation, what happened with the shooting and everything. And we also see that a lot of Indian employers got in trouble recently in their business places. Example, like restaurants, a lot of the restaurants are in trouble, like, having the employees who's not supposed to be working, doing the things like that, they are in trouble. And I mean that if you're an employer, you're a business owner, I mean that a special request to you, do careful. It's not just about your business, it's about other person's life is also very involved in this one. Again, a lot of things what I talk here is not just as an attorney plus as a community member, just like you, trying to share the concern. So a lot of questions on this. Can they arrest without any warrant for any public places just on basis of doubt? No, nobody shouldn't be arresting you without a warrant. Is that happening? I mean that it shouldn't be. They shouldn't be arresting you for. I mean that without the arrest, without the warrant. There's no legal basis for it. If they do it, you can always argue on that with the judge. But they can't even produce you in front of the judge if you don't have a warrant, anyways. So what is the need for the arrest? Where are you taking after your arresting? Right? You should have a place where they're going to be taking. Wherever you're taking, you have a reason why you're taking them. Without warrant, you can't take them. If the visa is I don't know if I missed anything on the top. Go through. A friend, visa expiring April, can travel in the month of March, back in March, and I think even though it's not related, I mean that they can travel before the visa expires. That's fine. I just want to focus more on the eyes. It's because it's so important topic. We all have so concerns on that. Can they arrest without anyone? And we talked about it. If the visa is expired and is under extension, what should we say if they ask about status? I mean, that you just say exactly what it is. You try to take a copy of your receipt for the extension. And again, they're not there to investigate on your status. Okay. They have some information, they have the charges already framed, they have a warrant for you to search, they have a warrant to investigate you. If they're asking about it, you're just going to show it exactly what it is. It's the pending application petition. Again, is that means anything for any of the ICE officers? Probably not, because a lot of these ICE officers are hired straight from the street. They got hired yesterday and they are in the duty today. They probably don't even know what the immigration document. Actually, we know more immigration than them, honestly, at this point, the way they are hiring these people.
But one more thing, one more, Madhurima Garu, one more important thing is, lot of thing what news media and everywhere the question is coming, because Once they come across, it is already they are recording it because the records will be there. So obey the officer what they say. That is very important. Everywhere they're arguing that you are not obeying what we are saying. I know the arrest can take place, but after that the legal process goes through. That's very important. So
They all have the body cams. It's
yeah.
important. Sometimes we are emotional. We just wanted to talk. What I see with a lot of Indian community, with my experience over 20 years practicing the immigration law, going through so many administrations, dealing with the detentions,
Mhm.
I mean that being a human and being fearful is one thing. Being an immigrant and being an Indian is something different. We have a body language differently. We have a tendency to overreact sometimes, emotionally, because especially when we didn't do wrong, we feel like we need to argue right now that we are not wrong, right?
Yeah.
But I mean that you don't have to. Remember, it's important every one of us to practice the remind to silent. I mean that I'm telling you, this is one of the powerful thing to do it, and it's the hardest thing to do it. Even though it's easy to say so, it's hard thing to say. To
Mhm.
act for it. I
Mhm.
mean that as remind, as calm, as silent you can actually talk to them, right? You don't have to argue with them when they ask a question. See that if you want to answer or no, remember you, even though you have a right answer, you still don't have to answer. Okay? They
Yeah.
are not the prosecutors, they are not the judges, they are not the lawyers, they are not the one who is going to tell that you are a right person or bad person, good person or so. They have no right to do it. They are just an agents, okay? With having that ICE officer, they think that they can arrest you, okay? But they also have to follow some rules, just like how we have to follow the rules. So they all carry the body cams. It's important for you, even a good, honest person, you never done anything wrong, you don't have to react for it. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me stop. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of them are in the change of status or extension. A lot of people actually being reaching out to us asking for the questions. Right to speak to an attorney during the interaction with ICE agents. Would this need us to hire a lawyer in advance to represent us when needed? Could you share information here? I mean, it's always good to have some number. I'm not saying that you have to hire me. Obviously, I'm here if you need it. But it's good to have attorney's information. As my friends are joking this morning when I'm at the Pongal event, they're telling that under their business cards, they need to put my name under there, if they need to ask, they're just joking on that. It's always good to have a lawyer's information. It's not like when you're talking to the ICE agent, you can just, even before you open the door, you talk to the attorney, right? Like, the ICE agents are there. I saw the document. They have the judicial warrant. Do you think should I ask them to come in? Actually, last year, there's a few clients actually showed us in the video that do you think this is the right officer or no. I'm not saying that you have to take the phone and do it because that also they're recording it, but there are some students in trouble, they have to do that. And remember, there is also a other officers, it's called HSI. This is also part of the Department of Homeland Security. You could also see them, especially the employers who are sponsoring the H-1B employees. You see a lot of them coming through HSI rather than coming from the ICE. So that's also other kind of the agency with the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, good to have the attorney's number in case if you decided to open the door or if the officer comes, say like, hey, talk to my attorney. Here's the number. Here's the phone. Whatever it is, let us talk to them.
Yeah, I posted Madhurima Paturi, the address, email, and the website and phone number. Please keep handy, everybody. That's my recommendation.
Okay. Let's see what's next. Even after we show the legal documents, if they still choose to detain the person, then what are the next steps that will happen? And does that person need to stay in detention center until a court date is given? You have no choice. Where can you go? You are under their custody. Can't go anywhere. You need to have the hearing, depend upon your thing. Again, reach out to the attorney. You have the access from the detention center to call to the attorneys. Okay, call us. And unfortunately, I mean, that we are getting a lot of those calls, and we're glad we could able to help them, a lot of them, to get out of it. But let me tell you a little bit about the detention centers. I know it's not an easy thing for a lot of our community to talk about it, but it's always important to educate yourself. Unfortunately, the people who are going to the detention center, even though you voluntarily want to depart, you don't want to deal with the situation, you don't want to sit in the jail, but still letting them go out, it's taking for months and the weeks. I mean, that it used to be weeks, now it's like a months, unfortunately, and you have no other choice. You can't do anything when they are in
Yeah,
the custody.
nowadays it is taking too much time, actually.
Yeah. And be careful. It's very, very important. Unfortunately, it's so sorry to hear a lot of the Indian students are involved in a lot of things. It's unfortunately, I mean, that as a community members, we need to educate and be very vigilant on this. We see a lot of the kids are getting in trouble. I mean, that regardless of the age and the gender, everybody who are involving in the unauthorized things are in trouble. But what we see is you see that action right away, right? We see a lot of people who are involved in these things losing their status, getting in the detention centers. I don't see it's worth it. It's not worth it to go through all those things. People may argue differently. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking about the people who want to stay legally and try to do the things in a proper way. Too late when you're in the detention center. Let me say that. Unless you can able to prove that you didn't do that wrong, right? There's always a way to come out, and still it takes time. Okay. And unfortunately, there is a lot of people who are good people get in trouble. But remember, you still have the law favorable to you. You can still come back, if you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
regarding that, the CFIC prepared a document for the civic and social guidelines document, and for the immigrant community, for the whoever on the visas, there is a document, two documents we posted in CFIC group.
I
Everybody
will send you
needs
the
to
Know
read
Your
those.
Rights document too, so you can post in the.
Yeah, please send me that one too. Please read that, try to follow, because we need to respect the land of law. Whatever local, where we are, we have to respect the laws. We hear a lot where we go against and we do the things in our way, in our back home way. That's not right. That is very
Lot of
important
the,
also.
lot of the questions here posted is what we already spoke, but I don't mind speaking again. Do you have to identify yourself if they just come up and ask, are you so and so? If they ask, you can do it, but again, you have a right to remain silent and ask for why they're asking before you even show your document, right? Who are you? Why are you asking me this question? Do you have a warrant to talk to me? Okay. Is the ICE stopping people randomly, or they only chasing after the people they have warrant against? To your earlier point, ICE officers, I'm assuming, have a warrant to go to an address or find for someone. Yeah. Um, that's true. They need to have a warrant to come to you. But what we are also listening and seeing from few of the clients is they do have a warrant, but it's not a judicial warrant. The warrant is something issued from their own agency, and they think that they have a right to come into the house and ask about that. Administrative warrant is something, it's not going to let you come in. You still have the protection from the Fourth Amendment. Either you are a citizen or non-citizen, everybody has the Fourth Amendment protection. So you are looking only for the judicial warrant. Yes, in the wise world and the perfect world, yes, they need to have a warrant to come to see. but they're also trying to trick you having some other paper which is not a judicial warrant, so they can still come and talk to you. Again, other thing is, which is very, very common we are seeing is, you may not be in trouble, but the people who used your address and who uses to live with you, or who lived with you now or living with you, that could be the other reason they're coming to after that particular person. Okay. So it may be your friend, your colleague, or your like whatever, Hey, can I use your address for a little while because I don't have a permanent address? They may be in trouble with the immigration, and last address they know is your address. That could be the reason they're coming. Okay. And yeah, I mean that we don't know what kind of people we have around, right? I mean that even they're perfect people, but they may have another troubles. We don't know who they are. So can I come and randomly check or ask people to show documents at public places like warrant? Yes, they can ask, but they do need the warrant to ask that. Okay, this is something very, very common happening, and it could happen again to any of us. Okay, we are on GC and eligible for citizenship. It's a good time to file, or should we wait? I mean that if you're eligible, you're ready to file. There is no good time and bad time. If you're eligible, you have a history of clean that you meet all the requirements, you should file. What are the documents do you suggest that we should carry always as H1 and H4 EAD holders? Copies of the passports, H1 and H4 approvals, and if you have a driver's license, those kind of things. Again, before they ask any of these documents, ask for the warrant, but do have all those copies, regardless if you're a US citizen, green card holder, all of them, have the soft copies with you as much as it is, Um, Again, on the naturalization, there's more detailed questions they're asking it. You can reach out to our office if you want the general information. What we're looking is 3 to 6 months is what the wait time we're looking for naturalization. Always in Orlando, they did do the naturalization process. It's your choice to choose a attorneys. Again, this particular session, what I do with the CFIC or anything in Central Florida area, I've been in the community for long enough, So a lot of these things we do out of the heart as a community members, But if you do want to choose an attorney, choose the attorney wisely. And also, yes, we do accept the clients. Again, this is not related to the business. This is just the information. We are happy to provide the general information. Anything specific, obviously reach out to any attorneys, reach out to us, and our number is already posted. Okay. Any other questions on this? If not, we can just touch base few ongoing things. Probably a lot of people might have heard or might have received the prudential revocations, right? That's one of the word. That's a new, it's not a new word, it's been in the law for a long time, but there's a few cases happened like that during the holidays. You got an email from the US consulate saying that your visa is revoked, a prudential revocation. That means that your status is revocable, right? So those people, what we can say is, as long as, even though your visa is revoked, which you got the email from the US consulate, you have a right to stay in the United States, and as long as your status is valid. Okay. So this is only applies if you have to leave the country, you need to get a new stamping before you re-enter. That stamping is purely based on how you verify your documents at the consulate, like just like how you go to the stamping and interview regularly, you need to re-establish yourself to meet all the requirements to re-enter into the country. If you get a visa revocation email and you still have a valid I-94, you can continue to stay in the United States, and you can do the change of status, you can do the extensions, you can do all of it. But this applies only when you leave the country, you have to re-enter, you need to get the new stamping. Okay? And I'm not sure anybody heard or no, this is only happening from last 2 days. lot of the B1, B2 people or any non-immigrant visas who are staying even in India, right? Like a parents, right? Maybe you can check out those things, parents or families or friends who has a B1, B2. We have a few people reached out yesterday itself, about 6 or 7 people, saying that they received emails from the US consulate in India. The email says that they have to go back to the interview. These are the people who finished their interviews 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they already entered a few times to the United States. Don't know what they found out. They want them to come back to the interview, even though their visa is not expired yet. So these are the new kind of the emails we are seeing them. Um,
Yeah, yes,
what is
that's
that?
they're reevaluating their visa things actually.
Exactly, exactly. So these are either it could be visa fraud or they just found something in their social media accounts. These are the new things we are seeing.
Yeah.
What other? There's a denaturalization, which we heard in the Trump one version. So, but that actually been practicing and it's actually enforced very actively. Recently, the denaturalization is something who are already citizens or naturalized. If they found out something, the process of the citizenship itself or the process of getting the green card itself, or while you are in the non-immigrant visa getting the green card, from the green card to the citizenship itself, if you didn't meet the requirements and the USCIS didn't look over at that time and they approve these visas, they can always go back and denaturalize you. Okay? Or if you done something, a criminal activities that was not found before, they can go back and take out your naturalization. Is it approved to show copy of your passport? If it is a US passport, yes. Yes. Mm, any risk on visa extension on contracting job? Mm, I don't know what exactly specifically contracting job is here. If you're talking on the H1B, doing a contracting job, if you have all particular papers and if the LCA is filed for that place we are working on the contract and meet all the requirements, I guess I don't see a issue on that. Did we covered anything? And the travel, right? The travel, we're still seeing a lot of issues with the green cards traveling, especially the people who are staying more than 6 months outside the United States and who are not maintaining regular residency in the United States. CBP officers are asking them either sign the 407, which is abandoning the green card, or some of them are requesting them to file the I-131, which is the re-entry permit. Like, you can apply for it. You don't have to come back for 2 years. If you don't want to come back and you still maintain the green card. Um, or if you are a green card holder and if you couldn't able to come back within 6 months because of the emergency reason, do carry those documents. Not only why you couldn't come back within 6 months, also carry the documents that you do maintain the residency in the United States. Whether it's the documents about the house or the bills, bank statements or tax returns, anything that shows that you are actively seeking this is as your permanent residency. So anything else?
And recently, Madhurima garu, we hear some of the cases. Please check your Indian passport expiry dates because if you don't check it, you are putting your kids I-94 things into trouble. Because recently I got 4 or 5 cases where their the Indian passports are expired and their I-94 our kids I-94 are expiring. Because of that, kids they cannot stay in USA if their I-94 is expired. So that's very important. Check your Indian passport expiry date and apply for a renewal. Okay?
And also look at your I-94 document itself.
That is also, yeah.
Right, there is a way that you can correct if it is within the certain time period. You can go to the CBP office locally and can do it. You can do yourself, or if you want an attorney, you can hire the attorney, but you can also do yourself. But if your actual last entry, if your last entry is not with the I-94 from the USCIS, but actually the I-94 with the CBP, and that I-94 expired, and you are assuming that your 797 is there until 2028, but your last entry of the I-94 expires in 2026, whatever your last entry is what valid. So don't assume just the 797. You need to look at the last entry of the I-94, whatever comes. The recent ones is what is valid. If there is something difference between the 797 and the actual I-94, then you need to check your passport. Did they give until your expiration of your passport? If that's the case, then get your passport extended and correct the CBP according to the 797. Sometimes if it is too late, then you have no other choice. You have to leave the country. Remember, at that time, you don't have a stamping. You do need to get the stamping. What does that mean is you're taking a lot of risk that you may have to stay back, or your visa stamping may have a risk, all these things. So it's important what your I-94 when you're re-entering into country makes a lot of difference. Okay, and a lot of people recently only realizing and educating about this, they're in a lot of trouble. And if the CBP asks you, or the ICE can stop you and say that, hey, show me your valid visa status, guess what? The I-94 shows that it's already expired. You can argue whatever you want to do with I-797, but you entered after the 797 is approved. Believe me, like that I-94 is valid. So that's what you need to focus on. Most of the time, the CBP officers give that I-94 not based on the 797, based on your visa stamping and your passport itself. So extend your passport as soon as you can, like even like 6 months before, right? It's important to have that document. Now, good thing is we have the uh, Indian consulate in Orlando, right? So things can go faster for us. We don't have to wait too long. I have a valid H4 visa till April and I'm traveling to India. So if I comes back in March, will the I-94 get updated based on the latest extension date or my current visa date? And also my passport expires in June. So with the new passport, can I enter? Also, do I need to make social media public? So everybody has to make your social media public if they're going to the standard. Okay. And that's the whole subject, talking about social media, what to post, what not to post, how to keep it public account, what is that they're looking at it. I know there are a lot of people who argue on the freedom of speech, so this is a very sensitive area. Which battles you want to pick on that? And coming back, on your H4 stamping, it's depend upon how long the H1 stamping is, and also your 797. And in your case, you also have to extend your passport. Yes. My I-94 has a old passport number. I got a new passport recently. What is the process to update this? If your I-94 is valid beyond your passport expiration, you don't have to do anything. But if your I-94 expires at the same time as the passport, either you have to depend upon what status are you in, then you have to go to the CBP office to fix the I-94 with a new passport, or you may have to go out of the country, get the stamping, or before the I-94 expires, you can actually apply with the USCIS and extend your 797 with a new passport. Once you apply for naturalization from GC, any restrictions or need of any extra documents once traveling abroad or India, natural is going on. You just have to take your expired green card and naturalization receipt notice while you're traveling. Srinivas Garu, any other topics you want me to cover before
I
we close
think,
in the next 5 minutes?
yeah, No, just keep on, whatever the right now.
Okay, I think I answered all the questions. And you can open up the floor if anybody want to ask the questions. We have 5 minutes. If not, we can close it. And I hope it helps the community. Just be prepared, as I said, and do remember all the things that you want to remain silent. Easy to say, harder to act. But we all need to do. Maybe we should do the live community workshop on this.
Yeah. So yeah, we are going to do, frequently these Zoom call sessions on these, but make sure that you follow what the guidelines, what Madhurima Paturi Garu, what she said right now. It is very important to follow the guidelines, and you know we should not do.
Don't be so scared. Don't be so scared. I know the
Yeah,
news are really happening a lot, right? And read about it. Don't ignore. Do read
yeah.
about it. Do prepare. More than preparing, also do need to practice. When the actual moment comes, it's hard to be put in practice, right? So and also educate other people. Also, it's important not just prepare ourselves, educate other people also.
Yep, that is very
Like you may be
important.
sitting in the couch and you don't want to open the door. Your kid may already went ahead and opened the door, right? It's important. Every single member of the family member needs to know about these things.
Yep.
And it's also happening at the schools, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
the kids also has to be prepared how to be behave, and then again they need to have a warrant again to come into the school itself. So a lot of the schools, and that early last year, a lot of them they didn't let them allowed into the public school places and all those things. Hopefully, it still continues that way, so our kids don't have to worry about these things.
And also important, if anybody encounters these situations, please inform the community. And Attorney Madhurima Garu email is there, and the CFIC 2023 at gmail.com. Please, inform us, and as a community, we can hold together and how to protect ourselves as a community. Um, yeah,
Yep.
we are here to help you.
Somebody is asking a question if the parents are traveling on B1 or entering anytime soon. Is there any specific we need to carry? We highly encourage them to have the return ticket, okay, so that the CBP officer knows that they have plans to leave, not continue to stay here, that trying to involve in other activities. Where sometimes people think that B1, B2 is to work here. No, it's not. Okay, and have a letter if you're inviting them, and have your documents, your information to them, saying that, oh, I'm coming to see my daughter, my son, whoever it is, and they're on this visa, they're the US citizens, they are this, that, and this is their address, their phone number, all those things.
And this is not the one to tell that one, but two things I wanted to remind our community to make aware them. One, if parents or anybody are visiting, please take the insurance for them. It is very important. Lot of cases, you guys are not. We, not you. We are habit like a not to take the insurance. Please take the insurance for them. The second thing, we all need to have our own private life insurance. We have been seeing a lot of incidents. Very important. Please take life insurance, everybody. These 2 points, we wanted to remind you all. Thank you.
Okay. Great to see all of you. Thank you. Hopefully, if anything new information is available, we'll come back to you. Until then, stay safe and just follow the rules and regulations. You don't have to be so scared, but it's important to be educated and know your rights. Even non-citizen has rights. I just want to let you know that, oh, I'm not a citizen here, so you need to be scared and worried. No, even the non-citizens has rights. And anybody who enters into this country has to follow the regulations, has the rights, but you need to know what your regulations are, what your rights are. Regards to the ICE, remember the 4 things to carry is remain silent, know what's a judicial warrant, not just to the person who is living, but you need to have a warrant for the whole house. Okay, and it has to be judicial warrant signed by the judge. And you have a right for a lawyer, and just a regular tip is just don't try to escalate, because everything and anything you do or you say can go against to you in the court. Okay, so just wanted to know that they could be in the regular clothes, they don't have to wear the uniforms, and but they still have to show that and identify themselves who they are. And sometimes it's very hard to scam in this kind of situations, because anybody can print anything. You all know that, you know. So it's important how the document looks like that. Maybe we can find some samples and send to you how these documents looks like, you know. Okay. Well, thank you,
Thank you,
Srinivas
Madhurima
garu.
Garu. Thank you so much, and thank you all. Please, we hold together as a community to face the situations, you know, avoid the situations, and take care all the guidelines what Madhurima Garu recommended. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you so much.